first verse of the 14th chapter of the second book of Kings. And he said, My brother Esau is an hairy man, but I am a smooth man. Perhaps I might say the same thing a different way, by quoting to you the words of that grand old English poet W.E. Henley, who said, When that one great scorer comes to mark against your name, it matters not who won or lost, but how you played the game, but how you played the game. Words very meaningful and significant for us here together tonight. Words we might do very much worse than to consider. And I use the word consider advisedly, because I'm using it, you see, in its original Greek sense of consider, of putting oneself in the way of thinking about, of putting ourselves in the way of thinking about what we ought to be putting ourselves in the way of thinking about. As I was on my way here tonight, I arrived at the station, and by an oversight, I happened to go out by the way one is supposed to come in. As I was going out, an employee of the railway station hailed me. "Hey, mate," he shouted, "where do you think you're going?" Well, that, at any rate, was the gist of what he said. But you know, I was grateful to him, because he put me in mind of the kind of question I ought to be asking you here tonight. Where do you think you're going? Very many years ago, when I was about as old as some of you are here, I went mountain climbing in Scotland with a friend. There was this mountain, you see, and we decided to climb it. So very early one morning we arose and began to climb. All day we climbed, up and up and up, higher and higher and higher, until the valley lay very small below us, and the mists of the evening began to come down, and the sun to set. And when we reached the summit, we sat down to watch this magnificent sight of the sun going down behind the mountain. And as we watched, my friend very suddenly and violently vomited. Some of us think life's a bit like that, don't we? But it isn't. Life, you know, is a bit like opening a tin of sardines. We're all of us looking for the key. And I wonder how many of you here tonight have wasted years of your lives looking behind the kitchen cabinets of this life for that key. I know I have. Others think they've found the key, don't they? They roll back the lid of the sardine tin of life, and they reveal the sardines, the riches of life therein, and they get them out, and they enjoy them. But you know, there's always a little bit in the corner that you can't get out. And I wonder, is there a little bit in the corner of your lives? I know there is in mine. And now, as I draw to a close, I want you to go out into the world in times of trouble and sorrow and hopelessness and despair, amid the hurly-burly of modern life. And if ever you're tempted to say, stuff this for a game of soldiers, I want you at such times to cast your minds back to the words of my first text to you this evening. But my brother Esau is an hairy man, but I am a smooth man.